What is up, my veggies? My name is VTR, and welcome back to another episode or season review. Sorry, we're gonna be reviewing the fourth season of Once Upon a Time. Now, going into this one, this was the season that got me to check out the show. Because I just had seen Frozen recently and everything. And I really liked the movie, and I was like, oh, this is kind of like a sequel to Frozen and everything. So that's kind of like what piqued my interest. I saw advertisements on Disney Channel and everything. I'm pretty sure I brought that up in my season one review. Um, but before I get into the actual season review, I want to bring up something about the spinoff, which if you hasn't seen that review of the spinoff, go check that out. But I want to talk about that spinoff real quick in this video because Will from that show comes over to the season, and like the way that season ends, I have no idea like how much time has passed in where Will is, because like I'm pretty sure Will goes back to Wonderland and everything at the end of that show. Sorry, I'm gonna spoil that here. I didn't. But my guess is it's either just written off as not canon, which I can't find anything definitive online about it not being canon. Um, but but he Will obviously isn't with Anastasia anymore. Clearly. So my guess is either it's just not canon or something happened with them. They broke up and then he left Wonderland or something like that. I don't know. And he decided to go back to Storybrooke. Like, that's my guess. With that being said, though, the first half, this season is broken into two arcs, which isn't uncommon ever since like season 2 or season 3, I'd say, is when they really started to do that. For the most part, but they always started doing after the first season is when they started doing two different arcs in the season. Then, so the first one is what I like to call the Frozen arc, and I'm going to talk about that first. Going into it, I did not remember what I thought about it and everything. It is a weak season. Like, it definitely, like, it's jarring because like the Frozen characters aren't like from the Enchanted Forest, so they're not like in part of Storybrooke. But I do feel like they weave it in with a story about Emma and this Snow Queen, like the original like story Snow Queen. Um, and they try to like relate Emma's powers with Elsa's powers, and we get to see a live action version of both Anna and Elsa that I think are actually really well casted. We also get Kristoff, and we even see Sven at one point. We even see a Grandpappy, which is the rock trolls. No Olaf. No Olaf for some reason. Emma is here, but Emma and Hook, this is the season like where Emma and Hook is like really like they're like forming a relationship and everything in this season. So like that's something I really like. They're actually like I'd say they're like officially in a relationship. And I really do enjoy that aspect because Emma and Hook are my favorite couple in the show, with Hook being my favorite character, and Hook gets some good moments to shine in the season. Um, but like I said, that's mostly all I can say positive, really, mostly about the first half of the season. Like, there's stuff with like Belle and Rumple that I like, and there's some stuff going on with Rumple in the season of and everything as well, but for the most part, at least the first half of the season, there's not much focus on Rumple and everything until like the I call it the probably the mid season finale probably. Um, But yeah, the first half of the season is just not as powerful as probably the weakest thing the show has done, and it does feel like they're Frozen feels like they're just an excuse. Putting that as an excuse, Frozen's popular, was to go ahead and promote the movie and everything, and it's like a sequel. It's like a proper sequel to Frozen, like before Frozen 2 even existed and everything. Which if no one had watched that movie and watched that and was watching once upon a time, they would have been confused. So I really feel like that was something like that you had to like watch and like make sure like. But overall, the first like the second part of the season though is where the season really shines, in my opinion. It's all about Rumpel. Like at the end of the in the mid-season finale, he gets pushed out of Storybrooke by Belle because um he's been doing he was lying to her and everything, and all that. And he goes off and finds Cruella and Cruella Deville and Ursula, and because they got accidentally sent to the real world years before well, not years, but like before the curse, before Emma was born and everything. Um, and they're working to find the author, which is something that Regina has been doing all throughout the first half of the season. She was trying to find the author to the book that Henry had, and that turns out that's what Rumpel and Cruella and Ursula wind up doing, and they also wind up bringing Maleficent back. If you remember, in the end of season one, or yeah, they wind up killing Maleficent. Um, and that doesn't go well. Well, not so. And we learned a little more about Emma's past and how she had this friend who actually turns out to be Maleficent's daughter. And we found out that like Snow and Charming did something that caused them to cast out any chance of Emma becoming evil. Chance of Emma being evil, and it goes into Maleficent's child, who also gets sent to the real world, and it's a crazy story, man. And the whole time, like this, eventually the villains get the story rewritten because they find the author and they get him to rewrite everything. Um, and now he's a famous author in real life, and then like they're all trapped in a book that changed basically all the villains to heroes and heroes to villains. Like Snow White and Regina have basically switched places, and that's interesting. I liked the whole what if scenario at the end of the season, where everyone was different back in the Enchanted Forest and everything. And Henry even gets brought in there, and he gets to kind of see the Enchanted Forest for the first time. And it's very, very well done, and very, like I said, the second half of the season is where it shines because it's better than all the Frozen stuff. And like, yeah, they obviously are still trying to tie in with what's relevant, because they even give Maleficent a new updated look. It's like, cause like when we saw Maleficent back in the show before, she did not look like that, and everything. And but yeah, overall, this second half is a massive step up from this first half, and I enjoyed it a lot more, which was not what I was expecting. I thought I would enjoy the Frozen part. I enjoyed it a lot when I saw it the first time, um, but I actually enjoyed the second half a lot more than the first. And I really don't think there's a. I think that's just how that is. I think it's really well written. I think it's one of the best arcs in the show, in my opinion. I still think season one is still the best. But overall, I think and this episode ends with like Rumpel like getting the the darkness cast out of him and basically not being the dark one anymore. And then it ends with Emma getting taken by the basically becoming the dark one, and that's where season 5 is going to lead into. And that is I'm looking forward to, because I remember enjoying that arc, but I don't remember exactly how it goes. So I'm excited to check that out and see where the series is going, because I'm excited. I actually am. I don't remember really much about the rest of the show up until season 7. So I don't really remember much about the next 2 seasons. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Oh, I should probably give it a rating. Just because I'm gonna go right down the middle, because I don't really like the first season. There's some stuff, first half of the season, there's some stuff in there I like, but then like the actual second season, actual second part of the season is good, is much better. I'm gonna go right down the middle and give it a 2.5 out of 5. That's right down the middle. It's like, if you want me to rate individual parts of the season, I'd say the Frozen arc is a 2 out of 5, and then I'd probably actually say the second arc is probably a 4, or at least 3. Yeah, I'd say 3, at least 3, like 3.5, 3.5. But that's all I gotta say for this review, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys know, the drill. I will see each and every one of you guys in the next one. Bye.